punishing the people for your recklessness and your mismanagement of the economy. Okay. But it is another thing when you rub that in their face and you make it look like you're doing them a favor or you're doing them some good when you know that you are rather punishing them. And that many will have to endure hardship and suffering as a result of your reckless decisions. But even before I go into these details, you see, look, when the 2021 budget was read, there were two things that I was interested in. That has been my approach to all budgets, statements that are presented by our ministers of finance. Number one, does the information contained in the budget reveal, things about our economy and the current state of affairs in our country that are positive? Is our economy in good health? Are we in a good position as a country per the information contained in the budget statement? That's number one. And then number two, does the budget provide the policies and programs contained in the budget? Do they provide or can they provide development and comfort for the people? Or will those policies and programs impose hardship on the people? Now, if I look at the 2021 budget on the basis of these two issues, the conclusion I come to is that number one, the 2021 budget statement, per the information contained in it, shows that our economy is in shambles and that Ghana is broke. Simple. Our economy is in a quandary. Our economy is in shambles, is in a complete mess, and Ghana is broke. And that is one truth that government spokespersons like Dr. Okoboy, government officials, should be candid about to the people of this country. Number two, would this budget create development, prosperity, wealth for Ghanaians? Will it provide comfort for the suffering masses? The answer is no. This budget will impose extreme hardship on the already suffering Ghanaian populace. And that is why this budget is bad for this country. And we must all speak up and resist the bad policies and programs and initiatives contained in it. Either than that, we will all pay for it. There are three things that have become manifest in this budget. Number one, the reckless mismanagement of the economy by President Akufo-Addo, his vice, Dr. Bawumia, and his government. Number two, the insensitivity of this government. And number three, the crusty deceitfulness of this government. Those are the three things I see when I look through the budget. And I am not surprised. And I know that people like you, your good self, Dr. Randiabe, you are also not surprised because we saw these signs long ago. And some of us have been sounding the alarm bells to Ghanaians that you cannot trust these people. They are mismanaging this economy under the guise of COVID, and we will all at some point be required to pay for the mess they are creating if we don't stop them. And giving them 4 more years will only lead to our suffering and nothing else. And that is what we are beginning to see. So Dr. Okoboy and government spokespersons should credit us with some intelligence. We know where we stand as a country. The facts are clear. And we know what this budget portends for this country. There is nothing good in this budget. There is nothing good in this budget. Randy, where do we stand per the information contained in this budget and the information we know about our economy? We stand in an unsustainable debt position, where today our public debt has ballooned to a whopping 291.6 billion Ghana cedis. From 120 billion Ghana cedis as of December 2016, 4 years ago, when John Mahama handed over the reins of this country to President Akufo-Addo, to a whopping 291.6 billion. Meaning that candidate Akufo-Addo alone has added over 171 billion Ghana cedis to the public debt stock of this country. President Akufo, when he took office, left after 8 years, our public debt at about 9.7 billion Ghana cedis. President Mills, of blessed memory, in 4 years added 26 billion to this public debt and moved it from 9.7 billion to 35 billion. John Dramani Mahama took over and moved the public debt from 35 billion to 120 billion, adding just about 84 billion in 4 years. Candidate Akufo-Addo alone in 4 years has added 171 billion. And this is unprecedented in the history of this country. We've never had any government in this country that has borrowed so much with very little to show. Today, debt to GDP, which used to stand at 55%, 55.6% per the rebased economic figures, as at December 2016, is today hovering around 76%. We have crossed the sustainable debt threshold, debt to GDP threshold of 70%. We are now hovering around 76%, the same position we were when we were declared HIPIC. Today, if you divide the debt of this country, by the population of this country, like Osei Mensa Bunzu used to do under the Mahama regime, every Ghanaian today owes almost 10,000 Ghana cedis, 100 million old Ghana cedis. Whereas in 2016, if you did the same exercise, every Ghanaian was owing just about 4,000 Ghana cedis. Today, that is how much every Ghanaian owes. Today, and this is why I say Ghana is broke, we have a situation where the fiscal space of this country is totally eroded by two things, two budget items. In this year, government is projecting to mobilize total revenue and grants of about 72 billion Ghana cedis. 72 billion, that's our total revenue and grants. And Randy, out of that total revenue figure of 72 billion, 35 billion, representing almost 50%, will be used just to service our debts, just interest payments. And here, amortization is not part. That is the defrayment of the principal of the monies we have borrowed is not part. Just interest that we are going to pay on the monies we owed. 35 billion, almost 50% of our total revenue gone. Then compensation, monies that we will need to pay salaries of workers alone is 30 billion, another 42%. So interest payments and compensation alone is consuming more than 90% of our total revenue and grants. We are broke. It means that after we pay interest on our debts, pay the salaries of workers, we don't even have enough for statutory payments, like the money that must go into the District Assembly Common Fund, the GET Fund, and so on. We don't have. We don't have money for capital expenditure. We don't have money for goods and services to run the various administrations of ministries, and we don't have money for that. We have to borrow for all that. That is the quagmire, the quandary we find ourselves in as a country, as a result of the recklessness and the crass incompetence of President Akufo-Addo and Dr. Bawumia. So we are broke. Now, what is even painful is that due to this government's unbridled penchant for borrowing, we have even encumbered future revenue streams. Taxes that are yet to be collected by government have been collateralized for loans. And so when those taxes are paid, instead of those taxes to go into developmental projects and all that, and the purpose for which they are meant for, they will go into the payment of interest on those loans.